Hello and welcome to another Custis Blue Yapcast with Custis Blue. Currently wearing my no-gi jiu-jitsu attire at the moment. Sapa! You're welcome, JK. Yeah. Anyway, hey guys, I'm here with a new weekly update because that basically seems to be what this is, a weekly update. Now, I want to stop talking like this because it's not that I really care, but I do care in the recording. I hate that frequency, probably shouldn't even have mentioned that because now y'all are going to hear it. And y'all probably weren't even paying attention to it. Anyway, who cares? Because I think that's just my voice. Anyway, okay, sorry. Hey guys. So yeah, this has just become like a weekly update thing, it seems like, where I'm just updating you guys with my life. So thanks for coming back to learn about the next Custis Blue update. Anywho, feeling a lot better than I was the past few weeks. So, if any of y'all have been keeping up, which I'm sure the few people here that are paying attention to this probably have been, your boy has been struggling on the struggle bus. And emotionally, I guess, or internally. And it was helping fuel negative thought patterns as well. They probably were working in tandem together. And now I stopped taking Wellbutrin and have felt significantly better quite quickly. I still have my things that I've always had, but I don't feel as terrible as I did before. You know what I thought was funny? I released that podcast episode a couple weeks ago with my dad. It was like, I told my dad I'm depressed. The best clickbait, I guess. Which got, more people than usual to come watch. Which kind of sucks because it's like, or it doesn't really suck. But the thing that was like not shitty about it, but felt like sucked for me, but also like didn't suck. It showed that people cared and stuff was so many people, like mostly family and stuff, because I saw them like the next week and they were like, I saw your episode with your dad. And if you can't see the camera because you're just listening, I'm like, they're like, I saw the episode with your dad. How are you? I'm like, I'm great. They're like, you are? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing great. And then even my coworkers, who I would consider my friend, but coworker, none, but more like more. I mean, I only see them at work, but I'm friendly with them, and I feel like they're a friend. But anyway, my coworker was like, "I saw your podcast with your dad. How are you doing?" I'm good. You're good. You're doing good. Yeah. Anyway, that was something. Let me just put it there. It's crazy because like I want to be selfishly, I want to be expressive and express myself out, but I don't do it specifically. Like not everything I do is for attention. I know posting on the internet is for attention, but to be honest, like the selfish part of the only selfish part about me expressing something like that, especially in the form of a podcast that isn't really promoted and not that high quality, is just like the selfish part is I do it to for myself to feel better, because I just want to express it and I want to express it in a way where I feel heard. And for some reason, when I put something out there in the world like that, it feels expressed. That's the selfish reason. The unselfish reason is that I know that there's people that relate. But I will say that I don't necessarily want people to maybe be like I didn't do it because like I mean, I don't know. It's a nice thing. It's a nice thing for people to come up and it's just like hard. It was a hard subject to like, I haven't seen someone in a while. And the first thing they say is one of the first things they talk about is, my mental health, is like, that wasn't the reason that I expressed it. Anyway, but no shame. I mean, I highly doubt the people that, even mentioned it are going to listen to this one because I'm sure that they just probably watched that one because of the title of the video. And unless this title of the video is, holy crap, I'm mentally dying, or, oh my God, I'm getting canceled, or something like that, I'm sure that people won't come and see it. Anyway, because clickbait works, guys. Clickbait works. But I wouldn't say that was clickbait. I mean, that was an honest thing. Anyway, just talking about this for a good 5 minutes, so sorry. Anyway, I'm sure at this point some people were like, maybe you should get topics to talk about. Maybe I should, but here's the thing. I didn't, this is something where I said, I'm going to do this every week, prepared or unprepared. And that's why I'm here. And one day it might look different, sound different, and be more prepared. I will say that this is, I think, better than me sitting on the weird beanbag thing, only because it just looks better. Although the background is so dark right now, it's stressing me out. Anyway, what's been going on? So I talked to my therapist the other day. We talked to my psychiatrist the other day and my therapist, and I was trying to get off this is just more medication talk. I was trying to get off the Wellbutrin because I knew that it wasn't doing good. Basically what happened was started Wellbutrin on 75 milligrams. Got a really great burst of energy, which I wasn't used to, and I enjoyed. So I got anxious, but I also had energy, and I just was working through the anxiety by like working out and working hard. Then honestly, I just bottomed back out, but just had more anxiety or whatever. But we decided to up the Wellbutrin because the whole goal was to get to like the base level of like 150 milligrams. And anyway, I went up to 100 and instantly was like pretty unregulated, like emotionally. I was like, I'm going to tough this out because I hear it takes a while sometimes for these things to work. And honestly, I might not be unregulated because of this. It might just be like my cyclical like cycle of my how I feel emotionally, because I tend to have like a nice cycle. A nice, beautiful cycle of despair. Anyway, so that happened, and then I got unregulated, and then I kind of felt but I wasn't like in despair, and then I hit the despair again pretty quickly, and then I realized, okay, this is just like me being unregulated, and this has got to be about the Wellbutrin. So then I basically hit a breaking point and talked to my therapist about it, and I was like, I got to get off this Wellbutrin. So I contacted my psychiatrist, and my psychiatrist was like, yeah, let's wean off of that. So I started weaning off of it, and then I was like, I really enjoyed the Prozac. Can we please try the Prozac again? Because I don't care if it takes me longer to finish. Because she was like, well, we really care about the side effects, especially the sexual ones and that. And I was like, I don't know who we is. Because I told you from the get when I was first tried this that I did not care. And you said, we don't want any side effects. And I was like, okay, I guess we don't. Because really they're not that bad for me. Ladies, just think of it as a challenge. I'm so funny. Anyway, so I started the Prozac and stopped the Wellbutrin. Instantly felt better just going down from, like the second I started weaning off the Wellbutrin, I instantly started feeling less despair and a lot better. And I was just kind of getting back to ground zero. But now on Prozac, I think if the Prozac doesn't work, I'm kind of just going to be like, okay, no, I don't need medication. I'm just going to raw dog it. Which I've talked about before in my new TikTok account. Where all I do is yap for a minute every day, because I'm just trying to learn to talk to the camera without having to perform. Or maybe I still want to be performative. Like I want it to be like an entertaining minute if it can be, but it's not. It doesn't have to be. The goal is just to do the talk every day, and get more comfortable with it. I think the reason I made that is because I felt like I wanted to express more, and I felt like I wasn't expressing on my main account, but I felt like there was too much pressure to like get a certain amount of views and get enough engagement and be super performative. Where I needed a break. I didn't want to try out something new. It's like that's not like where I feel like I'm safe to try out new things. I don't feel safe to try out new things, and it's not because of anyone else. It's just because of me. So if anyone, I actually recommend, and if anyone's trying to get better at anything, public speaking, wanting to try new things or whatever, I recommend, you can do it on your whatever. But even when I first started social media, I created a new one that no one knew about, and people learned about it because I just got that popular. So I think it's a lot easier when it's a lot less pressure on yourself. When you don't feel the judgment of others, even though the judgment of others is actually your self-judgment through their eyes, which tends to be a lot of things, because most people are just judging themselves and they're not judging you. And the people that are judging you are really just judging themselves through you. But I guess what I'm trying to say is this is a cool topic to go into, which is, it's crazy because I know, people that aren't really judging. I mean, some people are, but not everyone. When my videos are doing bad, or I feel like I'm being performative, or I'm trying something new, I don't think that like anyone I know is actually judging me, but I'm judging me through through the idea that they are judging me. So I'm like, through their eyes, I'm judging myself, which is actually really weird. And it's crazy that making, something in private, like a new account, and not telling people and stuff like that, and no one being there, almost feels like I don't feel like I'm getting judged. But in reality, when I'm doing it with the main account, I do feel like I'm getting judged, but it's low-key me judging myself. Wow, that's so weird. Isn't that weird? Am I making this up? Or is that a real thing? I mean, I'm sure it's real that people judge you when you put yourself out there. That's definitely real, but also genuinely, I think I might be on to something. Golly, they might as well put me in a monastery and teach as the Buddha master, because I am well, maybe I'm not, because I can't even think of the word. Enlightened. I'm enlightened. I've just another cool topic, which I think, some people are like, man, he thinks about these things a lot more than I thought. Another cool topic, which I actually just thought was funny, because I saw this really beautiful post on Instagram, and I posted on my story today. So if you see this today, you can look, of these two guys like that are aliens, and they're like, it's really funny because humans like invented time, and now they want more of it, and they're not being present, and they're like time's ruining like so many things and like causing them so much suffering and stuff, but it's literally invented by them, which is true. I mean, I think it's factually true. I mean, the idea of time definitely is created through the thought process of a human. If you were to go and ask a tree, hey, tree, what time is it? You'd be like, what you talking about, motherfucker? It's right now. It's right now. There's no other time. It's right now. Everything would say that. Everything, if it could talk, other than a human. Which is something that's really, really cool. I think the first time that you rediscover the present moment, it's really trippy, actually. And then you kind of just like meld back into it like you do like any other thing, that you got for the first time. Like you never get the same rush twice. But when you first immerse yourself in the moment, it actually feels like a quite enlightening experience to be here now and be present and see everything around you and feel everything around you, which I'm kind of doing right now. And what if I just exited my body and floated off into the abyss, enlightened, right here on camera? I had a very intrusive thought there that I was about to say, and it was a really weird one, so I'm not going to say it. Anyway, I think a really important thing that I would like for myself to internalize and maybe pass on to other people is the trust the process process, which is something that's really apparent, in things, and a great way to learn and to grow and to learn to trust the process is by starting a practice of some kind, and just seeing it through no matter what the outcome is. That's, I think, how I've actually learned to become a better artist. And I'm super excited to share my art with the world soon. And I've really had to trust the process with so many things. One example is when I start mixing a song. When I first mix a song, I'd bring it back to its, bare bones, and I bring all the volume to basically the same output, and then I would say that I like run each track. I clean each track like I'm cleaning my vegetables and stuff before I'm gonna cook. Before I put the seasoning on everything, I clean it first. And when you clean it, before you even clean it, when you have everything just out on the table, as an engineer, it looks like, what the fuck? This is supposed to be a dish? Because this does not look like it's gonna be a dish, and honestly, this doesn't even look edible. Then you start scrubbing, washing the vegetables, and doing all these things, and you're like, oh my God, this sucks, bruh. Unless you're in the moment. It's actually quite grounding, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't always suck. But anyway, before you even get that initial volume balance, you're like, oh my God, am I actually gonna do this? And then you get the initial volume balance without adding anything really yet and subtracting anything, and like, other than just basic cleaning of the stuff. And you're like, oh my God, this is like, it's a song, that's for sure. But it's not that good, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it that good. And since I don't have that much experience of mixing songs, I have a lot of experience, but not a lot of experience at the same time. It's really hard to explain. Every time I mix a song at the beginning, I'm like, oh my God, am I going to be able to do this? Is this going to be good? Is this actually going to sound like good and be at a competitive level? And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not going to. But I trust the process anyway. And I follow through because I want it to, and I want to be good at that thing. And every time, lo and behold, I keep going, I chip away, I scrub, I polish, I bring up certain faders, I take down certain things on the EQ, I add saturation, I do all this mumbo jumbo and compression and blah 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 blah, and I'm like I don't even think I really know what I'm doing, but I actually do know what I'm doing. It just doesn't feel like it because I'm doing so many small little moves that you can't tell that anything's really happening, but it is happening. And then next thing you know, you're like, wait, what the hell? What the hell? Whoa. This looks really good. This sounds really good. Wait, let me taste that dish. That's tasty. And I don't even like broccoli. You know what I'm saying? And that's trusting the process. Trusting the process was me knowing that I could not and never would be able to sing well, and singing it anyway. And next thing you know, lo and behold, after years of believing that I will never be able to sing, I started singing like well, like on key. I mean, I'm not fucking Adele or anything, but trust me, asking me if I could sing well, not everything that comes out of my mouth is good, and usually the first time I start to sing, it does not sound good. Like if I'm trying to sing something new, but 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 hearing me even say that, that's crazy. I had this moment where I was playing the guitar. I was standing up playing the guitar, and I was looking in the mirror, and I was singing the song "Yellow" by Coldplay, which I didn't even really take much time to learn, but I've really internalized that song from a long time ago. I like Coldplay a lot, and lo and behold, oh my God, not only am I singing, but I'm singing loudly, and I'm really happy. And I low key got teary eyed because I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I can. This is like, I know this is a lot of self praise going on, but what I'm saying is, if you don't look at it as me self praising, and you look at it as this is someone who genuinely believed that they would never be able to sing that song, they would never be able to sing, they would never be able to play an instrument like that, they would never be able to perform. They would never be able to make it whatever. And that was what went through my head for years and years and years and years. And now I'm sitting here saying, I can sing a little bit. Bruh, trust the process. You can do anything. Trust the process. You can do anything. That's all I'm trying to say. Trust the process. You can do anything. And there's a lot. I still have tons of doubt. And I still think I can't sing more than I think I can sing. But the pendulum is swinging back, or the weight, the scale is tilting. The scales are tilting. Man, I wish I brought my water over here. It's in the distance, but I have to finish, so I'm going to do that. Anyway. So trust the process. Trusting the process is really important. And when you're younger, you don't really get to see the process as much, or you don't remember the process. But there was a process for you to learn to walk. If a baby could talk and you asked it, yo, you think you're going to build a walk? You think you can walk? It'd be like, hell nah. I suck at walking. I'm going to suck forever. Maybe not. They might not think that because they have a little more innocent point of view. So they'll just be like, I can do anything, and then they fail and they're like, oh, I can still do it. So maybe I'm wrong on that. But basically all I'm saying is like, it took them a long time. Not that long because, their whole life like revolved around crawling and walking and stuff like that. And so they were, you get to become a master of walking pretty quickly because you walk all the time. But, sometimes when you learn certain skills and stuff when you're younger, you don't realize the process that it took. And so when you're older, you're like, you just expect to just automatically be good at things. That's another thing with this podcast. Like, I think like for some reason I just feel like when I first start the reason that I never put a lot of pressure on this, thank God. Otherwise this video wouldn't even come out today. But whenever I feel like I have to start something, I feel like I have to be already a master at it. If I put something out in the world, it needs to be the best already. I don't know why I feel that way. Maybe because I want to be the best. Maybe because I don't want to be judged. Maybe I want to be cool. I don't know. But every time, when you're a kid and you draw something and you show your parents, you want them to love that thing. And that probably was pretty hard to be like, that's a good drawing, except you probably as a parent are like, wait, that actually is a good drawing because a 3-year-old just drew something, anything. But you know what I'm saying? Imagine being, a little kid and drawing something in the world going, and your parents going, what the? You're a terrible artist, which actually is some people's life. And you're probably not going to want to draw, So sometimes that thing that's going, at this point when you're an adult, it's usually you. you're the mean parent to yourself. You know, that's usually who it is. Unless you're in high school, then it's your peers. But when you're fully an adult, it's usually you. And in a way, it is your peers and is your parents or is your society or whatever. But it's it's your time to take accountability and say that's me, even if me was made up with about all the things around me. And so I just encourage you to, when you start things, when you do things that are new, or even if you've been doing them for a while, maybe be a little more loving towards yourself. You don't have to be like, you suck at this. You got to be like, oh my God, you fucking made a song. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense, but you did it. And you know what? Especially if you're brand new at it, then you're basically an infant that just made a song, which means you're a genius at that point, That's with everything, with working out, with trying to start a business, with becoming an artist, with trying to start a social media, with trying to do anything new, or trying to start anew at something you've been doing, or even if you've been in it for a little bit. Just remember, everyone's on their own time, their own path, and it takes time. But if you trust the process, you can make it to the end, especially if when you trust the process, you can be, don't do that. Don't go to your child. You know what I'm saying? And you are the child and the parent at this point. Now, for me, I do go with to myself still. And that's why trusting the process is really important for me, because I haven't figured out necessarily how to stop that or navigate that. I think more, maybe more gaining more confidence, I guess. But I that's just, and maybe that's that part of me that makes me, but, or I learned that somewhere. But so I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because I'm telling y'all not to do that and I do that. But what I'm saying is, if you are someone that does it, then at least you can still follow through. Because I don't know how to stop that, but at least you can still follow through and keep pushing through and trusting the process. Because even if you are the person that's bullying yourself and you trust the process, then you can put some middle fingers up to the bullies. The bully being yourself. Because honestly, when you're an adult, who's really bullying you? Unless you're on the internet. I don't know who the hell is actually bullying me. And if it is, it kind of makes me laugh. If someone bullies me, it kind of makes me laugh at this point. So, unless it's me. What the hell? So we're coming up on 30 minutes, guys. Again, I don't know if anyone made it this far, but if you want to, you can ask me questions in the comments, and maybe I will answer them in the next video if it sparks a yap sesh. No promises, though. Also, if you made it this far, put the eyeball heart you. And don't feel obligated to ask a question. I'm just saying if you do. And if you did, and I somehow missed it, because I'm not doing a great job maybe at what I'm supposed to be doing, then I feel bad. But who cares? Anyway, love you guys. Thank you for your time. Thanks for sticking out with me. One day, maybe one day someone else will be in this podcast again. Probably going to be Gray. I'm assuming Gray is going to be the next person. Anyway, love you guys. Baddies drink water. Custis Blue Yapcast out.